What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming, and this is going to be game number 2 here between Complexity's MVP DRG Dongre Gu and Imba's Strelok. As we can see, Strelok here spawning in the far right-hand position of the map dual site, and then over here in the far left-hand position, we have got Dongre Gu as the blue Zerg player. So it's game number 2 here in the series between these two players. And yes, on a dual site. I don't know what to say. Last game, pretty interesting. Again, Strelok, he played very passively for a majority of the game. Besides 2 small little drops, which only killed off, I believe, was a total of 9 drones, he wasn't very aggressive at all. He just stayed on his 2 bases, eventually working his way up into 3 bases. And he dealt with the Muta Harass that Dongre Gu was doing to him. You know, Dongre Gu moving out with Muta Harass, quite effective as well. But unfortunately, Strelok just mounted up a large force on those 3 bases, pushing out with Marines, a couple of Thors, lots of siege tanks, and some medevacs. And then he just started base sniping Dongre Gu, and Dongre Gu just did not have sufficient force to deal with it. We saw a little bit of miss micro in a couple of engagements last game from Dongre Gu, throwing away some Spielings a little unnecessarily, just being a little too close to the tank line. In that initial push that we saw from Dongre Gu as well, Dongre Gu pushed out very early with 7 roaches and a bunch of Spielings, and then after the push kind of got pushed back, he kept some units there and ended up losing them without doing much more damage at all, and that was certainly a little bit of a mistake from Dongre Gu as well. So I don't know, I think if it weren't for those 2 mistakes and maybe a little bit of a better engagement during that last large push, Dongre Gu may have had a better chance. But anyways, it didn't work out that way, and once more we are here on game number 2, so let's just focus on this particular game. Dongre Gu now moving out with the drone, getting a full scout of Strelok's base. Wanted to make sure there was a refinery there, and he also wants to see if and what type of attachment gets placed down on that racks. And as we can see, actually coming out there with that first Marine, and that will of course shoo away this drone and actually the SCV enough to push that drone away and allow Strelok to drop down his second supply depot over there. Back over here, Dongre Gu now coming out with that natural expansion. He's got that spawning pool coming on through, and actually a very early gas. Now this will allow Dongre Gu to come out with a very quick metabolic boost or a quick layer, one or the other. I expect to see from Dongre Gu once that spawning pool does finish. Now back over here, quick layer is obviously much less likely, but I just thought I'd make note of it. Much more frequently, you're just going to see that extractor first to get that metabolic boost right away. But, you know, there's a possibility he may be trying something a little zany, a little off-keel. Back over here, Strelok coming out with that factory as well as that reactor, both of which will allow him to do that hot swap and then move out with some Hellions after this factory does finish. And he's going to be plopping that right on the reactor and then pushing out with those Hellions early on. We've got 2 queens now coming out for Dongre Gu, and there are just those 2 Zerglings, and he should be pretty content with just those 2. And we can see it is that metabolic boost, which is what was expected that we are seeing from Dongre Gu as soon as that spawning pool finished. He pulled a guy off the gas. Yes, he did pull 2 guys off the gas, so now it's just down to the 1. Trying to get a little bit extra minerals there, allowing him to afford enough drones, get a very nice and strong economy early on in the game. Now we've got those 2 Zerglings engaging that SCV, but it does look like that SCV will make his way into the main, and he should be spotting Dongre Gu. Oh boy, yeah, it looks like I believe he did spot the gas and the fact that there was only 1 drone on there, so that's going to tip him off as to, well, yeah, he's droning up pretty hard. So now it is time for Strelok to push out with a little bit of aggression, and we are going to see him move out with just those 2 Hellions. He does have 2 more prepared though. Well, just 1 at the moment, but we'll have 2 more prepared, I'm assuming. There it is. So first with the first 2 Hellions, and then moving out with an additional 2, and he will be attempting to use these Hellions to try to contain Dongre Gu. Not the most effective on this map though, especially since there are 2 ways to actually leave the base. He would kind of have to split up those Hellions. The drone's a little bit concerned about just those 2 Hellions. Dongre Gu should be fine though. Those 2 are not going to be enough to actually do too much economic damage, even with just that queen there. 4 more Zerglings coming out, another queen as well, coming at that natural expansion that will be used to drop some creep, and then as well move to the 3rd expansion whenever Dongre Gu does decide to expand. The 2 Hellions pushing back to actually take care of those 2 Zerglings, and oh, what a buzzkill. This 1 Hellion managing to kill off both those Zerglings. This guy must be peeved that he didn't manage to get any kills out of that. We can see Strelok now pushing forward with those first Hellions. I love how I personify like in-game units in StarCraft 2. Oh, that Hellion must be so angry. He must be having a terrible day. So now, more and more Hellions coming out, and actually it does appear as opposed to just using it to try to lock down and get a little map control early on. Strelok will be planning to do some drone roasting here. And here we go now. Hellions trying to move in the main, and look at that surround. Now he will be roasting these Zerglings on the top half of there, allowing his Hellions to try to escape and get away from that first queen. Another Hellion gets target fired down now just to the 3, and that one gets target fired down too. And Strelok, oh no! Getting a little bit of a bunch up there from those workers, and Strelok was able to get a few extra kills there that in all honesty he shouldn't have. Dongre did a fantastic job of taking out a majority of those Hellions and blocking them at the ramp, but then upon that push, getting clumped up with a bunch of workers, the remainder of the Hellions were able to do a fair amount of damage. Now, the Hellion production should stop right now, and we should be seeing that transition, and here it comes right now. Moving into Marine Tank is, of course, what we are going to expect down here. We're going to be getting a bunker, a little bit of a defense here for Strelok early on. So let's take a quick look, though. How much damage was Strelok able to do, killing off a total of 7 workers. So not a tremendous amount, but still a decent amount. We take a look at the units lost tab. We can see overall Dongre is behind right now. So not too bad, not too bad. Resource-wise, they're about even. Imba Strelok getting a slight mineral advantage. Dongre with that slight gas advantage. Of course, he is mining more gas, as you can see. So that's obviously a large part of the reason we have got no refineries over here. You can hold off on those refineries when going Marine Tank just for a little bit longer than maybe you would if you were going for a mech style of play, simply because you just don't need as much of Vespene gas early on. You can rely on minerals, and that's certainly one of the strengths of this composition. Being so mineral reliant and not being starved by Vespene allows you to be able to pump out a lot on a fairly small amount of bases. Now Dongre with the Overseer getting a full scout here of Strelok's base, and he's seeing what we expect him to see, which is Marine Tank. That's exactly what will be coming from Strelok, and that's again the composition of choice for most Terran players in TVZ. Back over here for Dongre what does he have going on? Does look like Speedling Baneling Muta will be the name of the game now. He is still on 2 bases. He's going to want to move into a 3rd sometime very soon. And actually getting a surround there on the Hellions. A beautiful play. Oh, leaving a little bit of room, though, allowing those Hellions to escape. And it's going to prove to be a little bit of an issue, but the Speedlings just quick enough to be able to catch up and take out the rest of those Hellions there. So very nice there by Dongre getting map control back in his favor, and Strelok with no more Hellions won't be able to push out anytime soon. It's now basically time for him to work up his forces before he's really got a chance to move out. And ooh, look at this. Pretty ballsy move here, moving out with just Marines. He's got to be very concerned about Banelings, but as we can see, no Banelings as of yet. In fact, we've got a lot of his Vespene being spent right now on Mutas, and he's going to be very Vespene starved after this cycle production goes through. You can see just working his way back up, but he's going to need a little bit more to deal with this. This harass is actually going to deny this 3rd expansion. It does look like that is going to happen. We have got no Banelings, so centrifugal hooks actually just coming in right now for those Banelings, so they're going to be quite slow, and Marine Micro with Stimpack quite easily able to get away from those unupgraded Banelings. So here we go. Stimmed up Marines engaging this expansion at the exact same time. Mutas in the main, and oh no, these Mutas have got a great opportunity to do a lot of damage. We got a couple Stim Marines though with Combat Shield, and that will be enough to push back those Mutas, and these Marines here, as we can see, able to take out that 3rd expansion. That is a problem for Dongre Dongre certainly needs to going to return the favor here by killing off a lot of SCVs, try to get himself back in the game economically. Losing that 3rd was a tremendous loss for him, and look at that, picking off the Marines one at a time. That leaves his SCV line wide open until we get some of those reinforcement Marines moving down, but he is just going to hop back and forth, and so very effective. We've got a drop that will be taking place over here for Strelok going into the main of Dongre and unfortunately the Muta's walking into a missile turret as they attempt to do some more damage. Let's take a look at the drop over here. Oh, is he going to be able to do much damage? Doesn't look like it. That was actually the natural. I don't know why I called that the main. And the Muta's engaging that medevac, able to take out 3 Marines on the low ground. That'll get taken out quickly. Stimmed up Marines over here with that scan, able to destroy some of those creep tumors. Pretty interesting trade-off there. We saw that drop harass. Taking out that 3rd was absolutely phenomenal for Strelok, but how much damage was Dongre able to do? Looks like a total of 12 workers killed. In terms of resources lost, Strelok is quite a bit behind right now. 2,400 resources lost as opposed to the 1,700 of Dongre. So far, so good. Dongre losing that expansion, not the best of things. He is dropping the 3rd over here, and it's coming out with a 4th expansion now over here. Again, losing that wasn't the greatest, but he was able to capitalize on the fact that a bulk of Strelok's Marines were way far away from his base with that Muta harass. So very nice, and Dongre will be keeping up this attempted Muta harass, although it's going to be a lot more difficult right now given the fact that all of the Marines for Strelok are back in his main. He's got some medevacs to heal them up as well. Combat Shield plus Stim Pack is scary, scary, scary for Mutalisk. So he needs to be very wary and make sure he's staying far, far away from those large groups of Marines. And obviously, anywhere there are not Marines, we will be seeing missile turrets here from Strelok. So Strelok doing his best to try to defend his base. One vulnerable spot we're seeing already is the attachments over here on these production buildings. So this could be quickly and easily sniped, and that would certainly set Strelok back. And here we go, a little bit of Muta harass will be going down on the expansion, but the stimmed up Marines again denying that. One Muta, two Mutas get dropped. Muta's trying to push over here, walking into some turrets though. Some more stim Marine fire. Dongre taking some hefty losses to his Mutas there. Even just losing 2 or 3 is a lot, given the fact that he didn't really do too much damage at all. You know, that's certainly a major problem. Definitely a major problem indeed. Dongre finally decided it's time to head back right now. Lots of speedlings, a couple of banelings over there moving as well. And we are going to be seeing another push here from Strelok, actually moving down back into that third, I believe. He'll be trying to take that out again. If nothing else, though, he will be killing off a ton of creep tumors right now. Lots of speedlings and banelings and those Mutas moving to his third, forcing the liftoff. This is huge here for Dongre. He's finally able to pay back Strelok for taking out his third, and it looks like Dongre will get that orbital command kill. Phenomenal there. Absolutely phenomenal. A couple Stim Marines killing more creep tumors plus that queen. But this base is a goner right now. You can see that's burning up, and ooh, Strelok might be able to return it, and he's going to get a repair, and Dongre needs to deal with that. He was dealing with a little bit of harass over here at the expansion. It was some drop harass from Strelok. The drop attempting to move back over here. Dongre able to mop that up, and hopefully those Mutas head back here because Strelok able to repair this orbital command. At the same time, tank line setting up here at the natural third of Dongre and shelling out, and this is a very strong position here for Strelok, and I don't think Dongre has got what it takes to actually push that. Is he moving up for a counterattack, or is he trying to flank? He could try to pick off a few reinforcements. That's certainly a very effective tactic. Looks like he will be doing that. All these reinforcements will get mopped up. Without the full force of the army there, Strelok doesn't stand a chance against those speedlings and Mutas. He's got the bulk of his army over here, but again, Strelok able to take out another expansion, and Dongre, unfortunately, I don't think he realizes that this orbital is still alive. And I would really like him to go back there and check because, I mean, that is free for the picking right now for his Mutas. He's a little bit too preoccupied right now, though, by this tank line and heavy Marine numbers. The biggest thing, though, that we can see Dongre do is just leave this be. Let it sit there. Keep eyes on it, but let it sit there and just cut off reinforcements. If you can cut off reinforcements, then that effectively will starve the contain and or push that you're seeing from your Terran opponent. And here he goes. We'll be converging right now. He feels like he's got enough forces, and it looks like he may, in fact, have that. Oh, no, pulling back with his banelings. And that left those Mutas susceptible there to that Marine fire, but able to snipe out the tanks, letting the banelings go in and mop up the rest of those Marines. And that was actually very well played there by Dongre, and you can see excellent decision making there by Dongre. First cutting off those reinforcements and then waiting until he's got just enough forces to take out the Marine tank force that was sitting there at that third expansion that Dongre had lost for the second time. Now attempting to move towards Strelok's third. Unfortunately, the Marine number's a bit too heavy. He's only got one tank, though, and you know what this tells me? Mass up those speedlings and banelings and push, and it looks like Dongre may be preparing to do that or just holding control of the center of the map. We also have that transition into Infestors coming on through. Dongre checking those tank numbers right now, trying to sneak on in. He wants to see, hey, how many tanks are there? And with just that one, I think he's going to be able to move in freely and actually just skipping that third and moving into the natural, and this is going to be problematic right now for Strelok. He's going to be losing that bunker, losing all those Marines. Still a lot of speedlings. Unfortunately, Muta's clumped up. There's that one Thor right there. Speedlings doing so much damage. Banelings hitting the resource line there. That was devastating for Strelok. I do want to take a look there at the workers killed. 31 workers killed for Dongre so far this game. Dongre being pretty effective so far. We can see resources lost as well. Strelok is also behind. Now, Dongre, what he needs to do is prevent what happened last game from happening again and essentially try to keep harassing Strelok and try to prevent him from massing up that strong 3-base army and pushing out. One huge advantage right now, Dongre working his way up into that hive tech, getting that greater spire. That will allow Broodlords to come into play, and at the moment, Strelok really doesn't have a big response to Broodlords. Stim Marines, sure, Stim Marines are fantastic, but we have got Infestors coming into play, and that, of course, is used to directly counter those Stim Marines and prevent them from getting up onto those Broodlords. Now, here comes a push from Strelok, and as long as Dongregoo is able to defend against this, he may have time to get out those Broodlords and, again, be in a pretty strong position, and never mind Strelok deciding, again, just to do the small little pokes that you see Terran players do to try to just cut back on the creep spread, and that was the entire point of that. He is mobilizing, though, and it looks like he may be prepared very shortly to move out. Greater Spire, though, as you can see, just about finished. Now, we do have Strelok attempting to push onto this expansion, and Dongregoo, with a little bit of a spread of his forces, may try to hit him from the backside as well as the front. He's got those Spielings over here, as well as those Infestors, and he can push up the backside with this group as well, and it looks like that's going to happen. The tank line just setting up, spreading those Marines. Dongregoo almost ready to engage. We also have the upgrade there for those Zerglings. Going to see those Adrenal Glands just about finished, and look at that, completely overwhelming Strelok's forces, hitting from all angles there, and Strelok got completely mopped up. Now he's got a few more Marines, but it looks like there may be enough. Oh boy, those Muta numbers are pretty thin, but the Mutas plus that Queen able to mop up the rest of those Marines. Very nice defense there. I mean, really, yes, Dongregoo lost a lot. We also have, looks like, a drop going on over here. And Dongregoo, unfortunately, yeah, well, actually, never mind. He was able to pull off those workers. There we go. So able to pull off those workers. Didn't take too much damage. Now, Strelok might be able to force the cancel over here if he drops. I should see some Spielings respond to that, hopefully, though. If at all possible, prevent that from happening. And where are the Spielings going? They're pushing out for a counterattack, hoping that Strelok just doesn't have a lot of forces right now. And actually, with that complete wall off, deciding to pull back right now. That expansion looks to be a lost cause. We've got another small push moving down over here, but here come those Broodlords. We've got 4 Broodlords in play right now, and this is really a problem for Strelok. And Strelok, of course, needs to respond by getting some Vikings, or else he's going to have a whole lot of issues. Lots of action going on all over the place. Another drop over here. That gets quickly picked up there by Dongregoo with those Spielings and Banelings able to take care of that. We're seeing some more continued attempted harass, but that medevac gets sniped down. Got a couple more Stim Marines moving on over here. Now, where are those Broodlords? We still have got those 4. Looks like they are right up over here, and there they are. So the Broodlords getting ready to push with these Spielings, Banelings, Mutas, and Infestors. And Strelok looks to be in a vulnerable spot. He may be losing that 3rd expansion. Dongregoo needs to be wary of that counterattack, because it does look like Strelok is actually preparing to do just that very thing. So here we go right now. Broodlords moving down to engage this 3rd expansion, and they should have no problem taking that out. And we're going to see those Spielings, Banelings, and Mutas take care of the rest of the force. Nice fungal growth there, letting those Spielings and Banelings catch up to those Marines. We've got a little bit of a force over here, but I think Dongregoo has got more than enough, and yes, he does. Able to mop up the rest of this, and that is going to be it for Strelok, calling the GG. All right, guys, that was game number 2 here between Dongregoo and Strelok. Now, Dongregoo dealt with more harass from Strelok this game, just like we saw a little bit last game. However, Dongregoo was successfully able to counter-harass and take out some expansions of Strelok's, and that really is what allowed him to tech up very strongly into those Broodlords and make for the win. All right, guys, again, that was game number 2. Moving on to game number 3 in just one moment. If you like the content, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.